So PewDiePie is somewhat semi-retired at the moment. If you don't know, for a while now, PewDiePie has only been making a video, maybe like once a month, where he just kind of does some reactionary content, mostly with Cinnamon Toast Ken. And in his recent video, he called out YouTubers and streamers about their recent behavior in Japan and how they are ruining the country itself.
YouTubers, they're the worst. We know because we are YouTubers. YouTubers ruin everything, and right now, Ken, YouTubers are ruining Japan.
No, not Japan. It was the Holy Land.
The Holy Land. So this all started, of course, with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Now it's become an infestation. All these YouTubers are coming, trying to be as obnoxious as possible, get a bunch of attention, get a bunch of hate clicks, bing bada boom bada bang.
So as you can see there, that's just the start of his video, mentioning about how, he feels that the recent behavior of YouTubers stemming from Logan Paul. Now, if you don't know, I agree with PewDiePie, because even before that Logan Paul situation, like, there was never many, like, content creators going around Japan being complete idiots. But if you don't know what happened, back in, like, I think it was 2016, I have a feeling it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been a little bit earlier or later, but I think it's around, like, that time. Logan Paul went to Japan, and he was just being an absolute piece of shit, causing havoc in the streets. And then the most infamous part was when Logan Paul went into a forest in Japan, which was known as the Suicide Forest, and decided to film people hanging from trees who had recently, like, offed themselves. And it was a horrible situation, and rightfully so. Logan Paul has been ridiculed for it. But even despite that, even despite the ridicule that Logan Paul got for it, not just the, like, Suicide Forest situation, but also, like, just his general way of acting throughout the streets of Japan. Like, I remember when all that started to go down, and he was acting like a complete idiot throughout the streets of Japan. Now, if you don't know much about Japan and their culture, they are very much, they are a extremely respectful, like, people, extremely respectful culture, and they are very much a people where it's like, keep to your own, keep to yourself, be respectful to others, keep to yourself, follow the way of the law, and don't be a nuisance in public. That is the way that Japanese culture is. But despite that, so many people have gone over to the country, mostly content creators have gone to the country in the last several years, and they have just caused an absolute havoc. Some of the most recent people to cause havoc has been this person right here. This guy's name is Phidias. PewDiePie mentions him in his recent video, but he doesn't straight out talk, like, say his name or show his face, but fuck it. I goddamn will. This guy went in Japan, and he was trying to go around Japan, and what he was trying to do was that he was trying to not pay his way around Japan. He was trying to get away with having to pay bus fees. And obviously in Japan, that's a big fucking no-no. And it caused a big uproar. And rightfully fucking so. To the point where he actually put, like, a somewhat terrible apology in the video. The original video of him where he was, like, causing havoc in Japan has now been taken down, but he did put this pinned comment saying, like, sorry, I should have made more research on the cultures. To me, that's just absolutely bullshit. Like, the majority of the people who go to Japan pretty much know, like, what to expect of the culture, and he was obviously doing this, like, for the content. And also another recent absolute, this guy is the worst. I have covered him multiple times. I covered when he first started causing havoc in Japan, when he got arrested, and then his recent arrest in Israel as well, and that is fucking Johnny Somali. PewDiePie mentions him in the video as well, and he was, oh my god, like, if there's anyone in the world that I would want to drop kick, it's 100% Johnny Somali. Without a fucking doubt, I would want to drop kick this kid straight in the goddamn face, because he was going around Japan being an absolute nuisance to the people there, constantly shouting out Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which, if you don't know, are the locations that which America bombed Japan during World War II. And obviously that was a very traumatizing time, like, for Japanese people, and it still is a relatively sensitive topic. And if you're a foreigner, it's not something that you go around joking. It's like if someone, like, goes around and goes to America and starts running around New York screaming out fucking 9/11, 9/11, 9. Like, you would just see that as extremely fucking disrespectful. And then he finally got arrested in Japan for trespassing, like, because, you know, apparently Japanese people, they take trespassing very, very seriously, which, I mean, doesn't surprise. You know, trespassing in general is taken very, very seriously, but obviously in Japan, you know, they take being respectful to a whole nother level. And he was arrested there, kicked out of the country, and he was fined. I'm pretty sure he's now banned from ever stepping foot in Japan ever again. And it's not just supposedly these English-speaking people that are going to Japan. PewDiePie mentioned, and I can't really find like any of the footage that PewDiePie had in his video, but I recommend going and watching PewDiePie's video if you haven't. But also even Japanese people, even Asian like content creators themselves, and people from Japan are also being a nuisance in their own country or in their own continent in Japan. Like that famous street in Tokyo, you know, the one where everyone's crossing and stuff like that. Some dude went ahead, some like Asian content creator, I don't know if he was Japanese or might have been Korean or Chinese or something like that, but an Asian content creator obviously would know like the culture of Japan, went ahead and put a fucking mattress in the middle of the street and lied down on it. That's causing, like, you're being a nuisance to the whole entire public, and you're just being a complete piece of shit. And due to all of this coming out, Japan has started to fire back. They have started to make a change. Many changes have come, like I'm going to show a couple examples here, is that apparently there's a spot near Mount Fuji where Japan has actually now blocked off a certain view. So there was a view where you could see Mount Fuji, like from the streets of Japan, and they have now blocked off that view because there was so many people being complete idiots and just like not respecting the surrounding area. Because as much as like, yeah, it's a tourist site, at the same time, people do live around there. And if you're not going to respect other people's lives, they're going to, you know, try to get you out as much as possible. So they have now blocked that view of Mount Fuji. And another one of them is by, there's this famous street. It's in the Gion district in Kyoto. It's a famous historic like district because there's a lot of geishas there, which if you don't know what a Japanese geisha is, they are female performers. So they dancers, and mostly dancers and magicians, and they all musicians, and they also do like hosting as well. So they host events and they'll like sing and dance, and they are extremely famous in Japan. And the Gion district is an extremely like historical site of geishas, but apparently a lot of content creators over the last few years have gone there and just been completely disrespectful towards these geishas. And what has Japan done? They've now blocked not just like any types of content creators, but foreigners altogether from ever going in that district again. If you are seen as a foreigner, they will kick you out of that district. And there's also a clip that PewDiePie showed in his video as well, and I'm going to show it here because I think this is, one, hilarious, and two, fucking amazing, is that supposedly the Japanese military are now and police are starting to be trained of how to deal with content creators. So they're putting out these simulations where they're showing, like, where they're being trained of how, hey, if there's some disrespectful like content creator, some YouTuber, streamer, whatever they may be, and they are getting in the way of Japanese traditions and customs and their culture in general, to how to deal with them and to arrest them and to get rid of them from their situation, which to me, I think is absolutely great. Like, I think it's good, the fact that they are like going that step forward. And PewDiePie in this video, he's like extremely annoyed by this whole entire situation. And I don't blame it as well. PewDiePie moved to Japan. Like, I've been a massive PewDiePie fan for fucking years. Like, I started watching PewDiePie, like, damn, like, I can't even remember how long ago. Like, I legit was an OG PewDiePie viewer. Like, I have been watching that man for so many fucking years. For years and years and years and years and years, I have watched PewDiePie. And I remember watching one of his OG Japanese vlog videos. I pulled this one up. This one right here. I remember like watching one of these, like one of his first vlogs in Japan. And he's actually the reason why I myself fell in love with Japan. I loved watching his Japanese vlogs from all the way from back in the day to now, where he's actually officially moved there. He moved there like, what, I think it was a couple years ago now, like 2 years ago. I don't think it was like too long after like COVID happened. I know it was after COVID, and I think it was like maybe like 1 or 2 years after COVID. But he's like moved there, and he's also had his first child with his wife Marzia there, and like he even proposed to her in Japan. Like, that's how much they both love the country. And if you know anything about PewDiePie, you know himself that he loves the Japanese culture, because he himself is someone who likes to keep to himself, and he likes the quiet life and all that stuff. And he respects the people who live there. He's able to live in that country because he understands the culture. He understands the way that they live there, and he lives there, and he likes that culture. He fell in love with the culture of Japan, and he hates it himself. And I mean, same to me here. I've never been there, but he hates it because it's just like the people that you essentially kind of affiliate yourself with, because, even though in the video, PewDiePie and Ken kind of joke about them being YouTubers, they kind of hate saying it, because majority, whenever you hear like content creators, like YouTubers, streamers, you just think of these obnoxious assholes, and they kind of hate to like be affiliated with those type of people. And PewDiePie's just like, man, they're ruining the country that he fell in love with. And I mean, I don't blame him. Like, for me, I one day want to go and visit Japan. 100%. I would love to go and visit Japan. PewDiePie is the reason why I fell in love with that country. And like, it sucks that, like, Japan is having to ban tourists from certain sites. Like, if I go to Japan, I'm not going to be a nuisance. Hell fucking no. I love the Japanese culture, and I will 100% respect their culture whenever the day is that I decide to go and travel there. But it sucks that, like, they've had to close an historic district because of fucking foreigners and because of these stupid ass content creators. And it really pisses me off as well, just the absolute disrespect that a lot of these content creators are showing towards the Japanese culture. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to think about this down below. That's it from me. Peace out.